welcome to another episode of Per My Last Email. In case you're new to the show, we discuss the latest buzz in the digital marketing landscape. This episode, we're meeting at the intersection of political advertising, influencers, and memes. No one can escape Mike Bloomberg. Unless he decides to drop out after we film this episode. Thanks, Mike. Seriously, unless you don't watch TV, use Google, scroll through Facebook, or watch videos on YouTube, you've likely been bombarded with ads from the Bloomberg campaign. As of February 28th, Bloomberg has spent a combined $500 million on radio, digital, and television ads. To put that amount into perspective, Bloomberg has spent more on Facebook alone than Donald Trump has on digital and television combined. Take a moment and look at this visual representation from the New York Times on how Bloomberg blanketed the market 1 week before Super Tuesday. Bloomberg is dominating in every state and spending in states where other candidates haven't even started to spend or aren't spending much. So here's the question we posed for this episode. What is Bloomberg experimenting with that is unique from other candidates in the primary? And what are the ramifications? Both Donald Trump and Mike Bloomberg ran television ads during the 2020 Super Bowl. Bloomberg's 60-second ad advocated for gun reform. Now, this ad cost Bloomberg just over $11 million. While the ad itself wasn't incredibly unique, it was one part of a greater advertising strategy for the Super Bowl. For example, the campaign spent a significant amount of money around keywords that users would be searching for during the game. Search Donald Trump Super Bowl ad, and the Bloomberg gun reform ad would be served to you. This $11 million spent around the Super Bowl was but a drop in the bucket for Bloomberg. The campaign's ad buys average a whopping $5.6 million a day. But every campaign has a different advertising strategy. So comparing spends doesn't necessarily tell us the whole picture of what is happening in the political advertising space. There's a chance you were recently blindsided by a Mike Bloomberg ad posing as a meme on your Instagram feed. And you're not alone. Some 60 million people follow the accounts that collaborated with the Bloomberg campaign. A normal brand ad would be served by the brand itself, and it would have a Learn More button on the bottom. But because of how influencers can post sponsored content on their feeds in Instagram, the Bloomberg team was able to essentially camouflage the ad to make it appear as an organic social post. That's where an organization called Meme 2020 comes in. This company gave Bloomberg access to a long list of A-list influencers, including Jerry Media, which was behind the marketing for the infamous Fyre Festival. In total, about 30 of these accounts ran ads. If a typical influencer account with at least 1 million followers charges between $10,000 and $50,000 for a brand collaboration, Forbes estimates that Bloomberg spent between $1 and $1.5 million in total on this campaign. Or as Elizabeth Warren likes to call it, money from Mike's sock drawer. In a crowded field of candidates, most advertising can get lost in the noise. To counter this, Bloomberg's team is betting on memes, hoping they'll go viral. Arguably, it worked. The message was received by a wide audience and got the digital political world talking about the ramifications of using such advertising techniques. Within 48 hours of the ads dropping on Instagram, there were no fewer than 20 articles on major news sites like the Daily Beast, CBS, Guardian, and Business Insider, spreading the news of what his campaign had just done. Bloomberg's team isn't just experimenting with influencer marketing, they're also tapping into paid user-generated content. Bloomberg's team worked with Tribe, a company with a wide network of social media influencers and content creators. They offered $150 in exchange for an asset that explains why they think Mike is a great candidate. Bloomberg's experimentation with influencer marketing is likely the largest and most successful, at least in terms of earned media, use of paid influencer marketing by a politician to date. In reaction to Bloomberg's influencer stunt, advertisers are pondering what this means for disclosures. Facebook responded a few weeks later by adding a section in CrowdTangle, its analytics company, to show political branded content. It is currently unclear how the FEC will handle relationship disclosures for political content posted by influencers in the future. But we can expect to see influencer marketing grow in politics and for there to be a push for platforms to regulate it. That's it for this week's episode of Per My Last Email. Stay on the lookout for our next episode and let us know in the comments if there's a topic you want us to highlight in the future. We'll see you next week. New episode dropping this week. But they drop every week. So, and it's like, Maddie, let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe bell. Seriously, as we're filming this, getting a text from Gail on Mike Bloomberg's campaign team. Oh, Gail.